Go. Hey guys, welcome back to Phil Plays TCG. Thanks for stopping back. I really do appreciate it. Today, we are talking about possibly the best blue generic leader in the form of Goku, Super Saiyan 2 Dead Ku, or Angel Ku, Rip Ku, however, the different ways you could, call this particular version of the character. This leader is releasing in set 3 of Dragonball Super Fusion World Raging Roar, and I am super excited to get my hands on this and start testing. Now, real quick before we get into the video, typical YouTube stuff. If you haven't already, you should hit that like button. You should hit that subscribe button, especially if you like Dragon Ball Super Fusion World content, because we do quite a bit of that here. We are on our way to 2,000 subs, and I really do appreciate any and all support you guys are willing to give. It really does mean a lot to me. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about the archetype here. Now, well, I should probably say the point of this video is talking about it's talking about the leader and the archetype that it's been put in for this set, which features Satan City, and why the Satan City archetype is actually kind of bad. It makes no sense for Goku to be the leader of this archetype. It really should have been Teen Gohan, like, Teenage Gohan, High School Gohan, or even, hell, Great Saiyaman. It doesn't really make sense that Goku is the leader of this archetype, because the archetype heavily revolves around Gohan going to, his high school, his friends, and all that stuff. Makes no sense. But we're going to talk about the leader. We're going to talk about the best cards in the set. We're going to talk about the worst cards, and then we'll end the video talking about the best cards that have come out of this archetype. The most generic blue cards. So let's hop into it real quick. Why I say Goku is in the running for best generic blue leader. Frontside, standard stuff. The draw one, awaken at 4. On his backside, though, he draws 2 cards when attacking, which is so good. It allows you to see an additional card more than your opponent can. It allows you to draw 2 fresh cards and then place 1 card from your hand on top of your deck, meaning you can put a card that is really not going to help you in this particular situation, a card you would rather see next turn, or even, hell, a dead card in hand that just really is not going to do anything for you. So I really love that ability. It does synergize with the Satan City archetype, where you want to know the top card of your deck because you want it to be a Satan City card. But I just think this is a generically good ability. You can make the argument that Vegeta is still the best generic blue leader, or hell, even Trunks. Some people will even say Zamasu. But I think this has a lot of potential, and it will see a lot of play in the blue player community. Now, its activate battle, though, it gets really interesting, where during your opponent's turn, once per turn, switch one card in your battle area to rest mode. Early. If you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, this card gets plus 10k power for the battle. So basically, your leader will buff itself up to a 30k body on defense at least once per turn. So that's awesome. And you're going to see why that ability is so good with some of the next cards in the set. Like I said, I really like this leader. I think that it is going to do very well in the next meta, especially with red making a return. And just being able to see a lot more of your cards and kind of reorganize your hand is going to be a very good style of play. Now, if we want to talk about, that's the thumbnail. Be on the look for that. Goku going to high school? Basically, the reason why his activate battle ability is so good, originally when we first saw this, we're like, oh, we have to tap a battle card? That's going to be awful, because that means we have to keep something on board solely for being to tap down to get that extra 10k. Not realizing, oh wait, field cards. They're in the battle area. They count. So, in this set, we got Orange Star High School, a 1-cost field spell where it is activate main, tap 2, place this card in its owner's drop area, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and play up to 1 battle card with a cost of 4 or less and Satan City in its special traits. Place the rest at the bottom of its owner's deck in any random order. So, this is a decent field card, being able to, if you know for a fact you have a good 4 cost or less Satan City card on the top of your deck, pop this for 2, you can play that card. Because this Orange Star High School is also an Earthling, you can use Peel Off to grab it back to your hand and play it again. But, like I said, specifically, you can use this field card for the most part. If you don't even want to deal with the Satan City archetype, you can just use it as Goku's buff, essentially. Keep this card on board defensively, tap it down, boom, your Goku is now a 30k body for that attack. And yeah, I think this is a very interesting combo. Definitely would not have expected the field card to be Orange Star High, but like I said, it's all about Gohan's high school in this archetype for the most part. But this is such a cool combo. Now, sure, I believe there are 2 cards as of right now that can destroy field spells, which is Zeno, which is in blue, and the new Pui Pui card being released in yellow can target this. So against yellow players, this might not go over as well because this will be a very easy target for Pui Pui. Or, you know, if you're playing against a blue player, tread carefully. They may just Zeno everything and get rid of it. But let's talk about the Satan City archetype. Basically, like I said, it is all about Gohan's high school and his friends. Now, these are going to be the 3 best cards that have been released in this archetype, in my personal opinion, which is 4-cost Son Gohan, Orange Star High School, which we've already gone over, and Videl. The Gohan and Videl are the SRs. You know, crazy enough this set, yeah, the SRs are the best cards released. Gohan's basically being a Sinister Sickle that plays a body is absolutely insane. 4 cost 30k, bottom decks 2 cards that cost 3 or less on your opponent's board as long as you have 7 or less cards in hand. So you can follow up, like you play Vegito, the SR Vegito on turn 3, you play this on turn 4, you can now essentially bottom deck to 4 cost cards. It is absolutely insane. I love the synergy of this card. It is going to do so well. And you can free play this or play this for 2 off of Orange Star High School, as long as you know it's in the top 3 cards of your deck. It's good stuff. Tap 2, play a 4-cost body. It works. It's just a really good synergy. Then you have the Videl, which is a 2-cost 20k. When attacking, if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, add up to 1 blue non-Videl card with a cost of 3 or less and Earthling and its special traits from your drop to your hand. So, this essentially will allow you to also cycle your peel-offs early if you need to combo them off. It will essentially grab any 3 or less Earthling, and there are a couple really solid Earthling cards, or even half Earthlings, that cost 3 or less. So this being able to cycle those back to your hand, so you can combo defensively very early on, or hell, combo aggressive early on, and then you'll be able to grab those cards back with Videl. Sure, it is a 20k. It has a better chance of getting removed, but your opponent's going to have to waste all the removal pieces on your Videls, and it's just... yeah, I think this card is fantastic. It does suck that the two of the best, well, actually, I probably should say all 3 of the best cards in this archetype don't have any combo power, which is a bit rough. Blue really does need more combo power, but with how much we got in set 2, I think we should be fine. But yes, these are essentially the big 3, the cards that you're going to want to run. And hell, these could be run in any blue deck that doesn't really want to use a Satan City archetype. They're just generically great cards that just happen to have the Satan City archetype. Next, you have the other cards. And honestly, these are kind of meh. These are the only Satan City cards that actually have abilities outside of the last 3 I showed you, which we have the 1-drop Erasa, being a top 5 searcher for any Satan City card with a cost of 4 or less that's non-Erasa. Next, you have Sharpener, which is a 1-cost 5k. That activate main, you can reveal the top card of your deck if it has the Satan City tag. The next blue extra card you play costs 1 less blue to play. It just doesn't make sense to play this card. It's a 1-cost 5k that's going to be easily removed. There's just no reason to play this. Same with Erasa. There's just not enough great Satan City archetype cards unless you really want to build it with the other cards I'm going to show you right after this slide. I just think this card, it's probably the best out of these, but still not great. And finally, you have Hercule, a 1-cost 5k. When attacking, reveal the top card of your deck. If the card has a Satan City and its special traits, choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards and reduce its cost by 2 for the turn. Now, I love cards that can reduce the cost of my opponent's cards, because that way I can hit bigger targets for my bottom decking abilities. The problem is this card only can use its ability when attacking. So, it just becomes so much worse because of that. If it was an on-play ability, that would be much better. If it was an activate main ability, that would be insanely good. But the fact of the matter is, it's a when attacking. So basically, you're playing 1 to minus something 2. And sure, you could make the argument that there are some moments you would like to do that, but it's only going to be on the board 1 turn. You can't reuse this attack. You can't reuse this card's skill every turn because it's going to be gone the next turn. Like, I don't know. I feel like this should have been an on-play. There are plenty of cards in this set that have on-play abilities. I don't understand why this card couldn't have been one of them. If it had, this card would have immediately shot up to be a much better card than it is. Next, we have the Skilless Cards, which, yes, this set in particular has a lot of Skilless Cards and all the different colors. I'm not sure what they're going for. Maybe they just were like, I'll just throw some Skilless Cards in there because we want to make Skilless work. I don't know. But basically, we have a 4-cost 30k Great Saiyaman, a 3-cost 25k Gohan, and a 2-cost 20k Videl. Now, all these have the Satan City archetype, and they all are 4 cost or less, which means they can be played off of the Highschool card. Now, makes no sense though, because let's be real here. Why would you ever pay 2 to play Gohan for, just 1 less than normal? The Saiyaman, yeah, makes that you're playing a 30k body for 2. The Videl, you're just evening out, makes no sense. But if you want to build a Satan City archetype deck, you're going to be primarily using a lot of the skillless cards, running almost full play sets of them in order to make sure your deck is consistently, it's more comprised of Satan City cards, which means your Erasa is not going to miss a target. Which, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, on your turn 2, play a Videl. On your turn 3, play a Gohan. On your turn 4, play a Great Saiyaman. Like, you have a card to play every turn that swings in, but I mean, you want to do more than just play. Skillless cards. Now, I may be wrong. There might be some incredibly smart and talented player that decides I'm going to make a Satan City deck, and it might actually slap. I just don't see it. Now, of course, when I get my hands on these cards, I'm going to be doing a lot of testing. So who knows? Satan City might have something going for it, but I think for the most part, the deck just feels like it is missing something. And next we have the extra cards. We have 2 of them in this case, besides the Orange Star High School. We have Great Saiyaman, and this card, to be honest, is awful. It is a 1-cost activate main. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with cost less than or equal to the number of cards with Satan City and their special traits in your battle area, and place it at the bottom of its owner's deck. So essentially, the best thing you're going to want to do is, if your opponent, you want to have at least 3 or more Satan City cards on your battle area, and then you are going to be able to bottom deck something. Like a 1-cost card that bottom decks a 3-cost, that sounds great. But the fact of the matter is, most of your Satan City cards are 1-cost 5Ks. They're not going to last. This card is, quite frankly, just terrible. Unless they release something later on down the line that allows your 1-cost cards to have barrier or at least some type of protection, I don't see this card doing very well or seeing any play in the archetype. Next, you have You Prefer Girls with Short Hair, a 1-cost activate main. If you have 3 or more cards with Satan City and their special traits in your battle area, draw 3 cards, then place 1 card from your hand on top of your deck. Essentially, this is a pay 1, draw 2, because you're drawing 3, but then you're putting 1 card back on top of your deck. Now, there is more potential for this card to do well, but it's just 3 or more cards with Satan City, which means either you have to play a lot of the really good ones, or you're playing a lot of skillless cards, or you're spamming the board with lots of 1-cost cards, which like I said, I don't see those 1-cost cards really seeing any type of play. So, I don't know. I think this card is better than Great Saiyaman for sure, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to get some more testing in. I just feel like this archetype is pretty meh as a whole. Satan City just feels like it's missing something. Gohan being its biggest, hitter, or hell, Great Saiyaman being its biggest hitter is is okay. Not great. But I don't know. In comparison to the other archetypes that I've seen and like some of the support that other colors have gotten, I feel like Satan City just doesn't really match that same level. But let me see. Don't I have another slide after this? No. We're going to talk about the best generic cards for blue decks, meaning these can be run in most of the other blue decks. They don't require, anything. They don't have anything to do with the Satan. Oop, hit the microphone. I'm so sorry, guys. They don't have anything to do with the Satan City archetype. And these are probably my 3 favorite ones. We have a 2-cost 20k Vegeta with critical and has the on play add up to 1 card from your life to your hand. It is essentially Blue's version of the red Caulifla card that we got in set 2. This card is very, very good, especially for decks that blue decks that want to awaken early, depending on the deck you're playing. Goku Black could probably play this card. Hell, Vegeta will play this card and actually get some bonuses off of the Bulma that pumps up a Vegeta by 10k. Getting a 30k crit Vegeta is kind of gross. That's really neat. Of course, we have the 1-drop 5k Bulma. Speaking of Bulma, activate main. Once per turn, you may discard 1 card from your hand. At the end of your turn, draw 1 card. Now, this card is fantastic. A lot of times, blue players just have a hard time getting below that 7-card hand limit because all of our best effects are stuck behind a stupid rule where we have to have 7 or less cards at hand. So, with this card, you can essentially play it, which takes 1 card out of your hand. Then, you may discard a card from your hand, which puts you, essentially, you're now down 2 cards. And then at the end of the turn, you just draw back up, draw another card, which means you actually can get some resources back. Plus, if you know what the top card is of your deck because of your Goku, wink wink, you know what the top card is, you can essentially draw that card. Hell, if you're like, I'll put this Gallic Gun back on top of my deck, I don't really need it. Play Bulma, I'm gonna draw that Gallic Gun back at the end of my turn. I think it's a very good card. It's going to help blue maintain the right hand size that we need in order to do well. Next, we have 2-cost 15k Krillin. Now, right off the bat, a 2-cost body for 15k is kind of but it's on playability. If you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, this card and your leader get plus 5k for the turn. Essentially, you're playing now a 2-cost 20k body that swings in, and it buffs your leader by 5k, which could be your front side or backside. So your front side leader will now be a 20k, and your backside leader will be a 25k. This is pretty solid. It's an Earthling, which means it can be grabbed off of the Videl SR that we looked at earlier. So as long as you keep playing this, you're swinging it for 20, and your leader's getting that buff for the 20, so for the additional 5k. Sorry. Don't know what's going on there. I like these cards. I think these are the three of the better generic good blue cards that we've gotten this set. And of course, we do have 3 more that I wanted to take a look at. And these are, I want to say, like decent cards. They're still generic good blue stuff. First, we have a Sun Goten, a 2-cost 15k. Like I said, stats not the greatest, but it's on play. If you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, you get to draw 1. Any card that allows you just to draw 1, I think is pretty solid. Once again, it's a target for the Videl that we looked at earlier, as well as for the Gotenks package. It's solid. Speaking of, I'm just going to skip over this Future Trunks here real quick. The Mighty Mask over here, perfect card for the Gotenks package. A 2-cost 20k body, that's a 10k combo, and then this card is also treated as Sun Goten and Trunks Youth in all areas, meaning that this card is no matter what you need it for. If you need a Goten, you need a Trunks, boom, you got one. It's got 10k combo power. This card is awesome. If you run a deck that uses the Gotenks package, you're probably going to be running 4 of this card, hands down. Finally, Future Trunks right here. Basically, I didn't like this card at first. But talking with Cody in Tarmo Tim's video, you should go check that out. I'll probably post the link in the description. This card here is a 2-cost 20k body. Activate main. Choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 2 or less and place at the bottom of its owner's deck. Then place this card at the bottom of its owner's deck. So right off the bat, I thought like, oh wow, only bottom deck can get 2 costs and I'm losing my 20k body. I don't like this. And it's still not amazing, but this will work in, I want to say, Trunks decks or hell, even Vegeta decks. No, I'm sorry. No, it will work. This works best in Trunks because you play the 4-cost Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta card that allows you to look at the bottom card of your deck. If it is a 2-cost future Trunks, you may play that card. So it allows it to be recurred a lot easier, especially if you have cards like Vegito on board, which allow you to hit 3 costs or less with this card. Play the Vegeta next turn, bring this Trunks back, and then you can bottom deck another 3 cost, or use Time Machine to play this card back. There are some really neat plays you can do with this Trunks, but I can understand, though, it's probably the worst out of, it's not, I shouldn't say it's the worst out of these. It's not as good as some of the other blue cards, but there are some really cool combo lines there. And yeah, this will do it for my breakdown of what I think about the Satan City archetype, as well as some of the best blue cards in this set. If you want to play just generic good blue, you want to avoid this archetype. Like I said, this archetype just feels a little half-baked. I'm not a huge fan of it. I think it's a little, I don't know, something's missing. We get a promo Gohan, but even then, that doesn't really do much for this archetype. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you excited for the Satan City archetype, or are you just planning on snagging some great generic blue cards and throwing those in your deck? Let me know. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. And one last time, if you would like to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, as we are on our way to 2,000 subs. I would very much appreciate any and all support you guys are willing to give, and I will see you on the next video. Take care, guys.